All right, hello there, welcome back to another wee bit of a video. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the Atlanta Hawks and this era of mid that they have been in. For those of you that have been out of the loop with the Atlanta Hawks and haven't really been following the headlines the past year or two, they've constantly found a way to just be very mid and play damn near 500 ball. But I was just scrolling through Reddit and I saw some numbers and it made me think, how is this possible? So I knew I had to make a video about it. But anyway, in talking about the Atlanta Hawks right now, they're 31-31. And let's go to this post real quick. They're sitting at 500, like I mentioned, and their point differential is 0. But let's take it a step further, and if we go to the next stat here, since the 2020-2021 season, the Atlanta have won 231 games. They have also lost exactly 231 games, which is... it's crazy. To be honest with you, that's crazy. That is the definition of mid and just continuing to find a way to be that way. And then if we take it another step further, because it's not done yet. Interesting fact on the Hawks. Hawks are not only 31-31 in their last 62 games, but 45-45 in their last 90. 67-67 in their last 134. 174-174 in the last 348. 210-210 in the last 420, 785-785 in the last 1570, 1940-1940 in the last 3,880, and to top it all off, in their last 5,790 games, they're split 2,895 and a 2,895 win-loss. That is, honestly, it's crazy because you're talking about a team for damn near their franchise, since the start of it, they've been mid. I mean, you have the ups and downs, the really promising seasons, the really down seasons. For all of it to middle out is actually just, it's crazy. And then, of course, if you go into the comments, 5,790 games must be dang near their entire franchise history. This has to be the most mid team of all time. So I don't know how deep seasons have been 82 games, but if we just did some basic math, 5790 divided by 82, assuming every season is 70.6. So if we just assume that every season was 82 games, I'm not sure, I would imagine, but I'm not sure, then you're looking at 70 seasons of mid, literally middling out. That's a long time. I got rid of the wrong tab, but it's fine. We're going to move on to the next thing here. If you look at the roster, there's some hope. There are some things to look forward to and say, well, I mean, maybe this player will help us get out of it. Starting off with Alexander Walker, I've been very high on him, talking about him this season, which is why I expected the Hawks to take such a big leap. I was expecting Alexander Walker, Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, Kristaps. I was expecting more from this team. I couldn't predict the Trae Young injury, but let alone they traded him. And not only that, they traded Kristaps. He's gone. They traded for Buddy Hield. They traded for Jonathan Kuminga, Corey Kispert. You know what I mean? So they've definitely revamped their roster, and you would have thought going into the season Trae Young would fetch more than CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert, but we are where we are. They just didn't get a good sale out of him. So what else is promising about this roster? I mean, Dyson Daniel is still a really good defender. He's fallen apart a bit offensively, but you can get something there, even if you just trade him at some point. CJ McCollum, nothing there. Gabe Vincent, nothing there. All those guys, nothing there. The real value comes in from Jalen Johnson. All-star player this year, really good at everything from being able to score, pass, rebound. The one very big thing that he's lacking is defense. He has not put it together on the defensive end. He's a negative defender with his metrics, which is kind of crazy because he's so athletically gifted. But if you talk about the rest of the team, Jonathan Kuminga has been playing pretty well. I mean, he's proven the Warriors that he's capable of doing more. And he's only been back for 3 games. But in those 3 games, there's been some pretty successful things going on. So he could possibly help you get out of this mid-era. Austin Ewell, he's a rookie, so still got to wait on him a little bit. Zachary Sashier, big disappointment for the Hawks. I think he was the first round pick in 2023, but just a massive disappointment. I mean, when you get the first overall pick, you expect that pick to be a cornerstone of your franchise. Granted, it was considered a weak draft, but you get the first pick, you got to pick right. I don't care what draft it is, and unfortunately, they didn't for the Hawks. And then you're going to round out with Onyeka Okongwu, but the real value is going to come in from Jalen Johnson, and then you never know what Austin Newell, Jonathan Kuminga could be something more. Naza Hooper, Dyson Daniels, there's something there as well. So that's not enough. This team is still, by all means, I think they're still just mid. But thankfully for the Hawks, they can look forward to the Pelicans pick. Reason why is the Pelicans traded for Derek Queen. They traded from the 25th to the 15th spot, or what spot did they? I think they went up 10 spots from 25 to 15 to grab Derek Queen, or maybe they went from 23 to 13. Let's see where Asa was drafted, but I'm pretty sure they only went up 10 spots and then traded their first round pick unprotected. Austin Newell's 23 or 24. It's one of those. 23. So yeah, they went up 10 spots to grab Derek Queen. Derek Queen does look promising, but as you can see based off of the record from the Pelicans, 1943. They're going to give the Hawks such a high draft pick, and Derek Queen better be something, because that is bad to not have your pick when you're 19 and 43. It's just inexcusable, honestly. At least add like a protection of top 3 or something. I don't know, but that's wild. Anyway, the Hawks have that to look forward to try to get them out of this mid-era. They have the unprotected pick from the Pelicans. They have another pick. There's a bit more of a complicated process here, but so yeah, they get their own 2028. They have their own 2029, 2030, 2031. So honestly, the biggest thing here is they just really have to hit on this pick. This is going to be the biggest factor into them getting out of the era of mid. That's just what I'm continuing to call it, because when you have the past 70 seasons, I exited the tab, but when you have the past 70 seasons being 500, I don't know what else to call it. When you have the past, since 2020 and 2021 season, the 500 record on your name, I just don't know what else to call it. But in talking about the draft picks and who, I think they have to get to really get out of this, it boils down to the top 3. AJ Debonsa, Darren Peterson, Cameron Boozer. That's who it boils down to. That's who the Hawks need to land if they're really going to turn things around. It's not to talk bad about Caleb Wilson or Kingston Flemings, but these 3 are the monster picks. I've had the pleasure of watching AJ play, and honestly, he's just an athletic freak. I mean, all 3 of these guys really are, but my God, AJ he kind of just jumps out the room. Cameron Boozer is very, very built already for his age. A lot of these guys definitely have more work to do in terms of defining their body once they get to the pros. But Cameron already is just crazy built. Caleb Wilson, I've had the pleasure of only watching him a couple of times. A lot of talent there, but I'm more highest on a guy like AJ. Kingston Flemings, I've had the pleasure of watching as well. His scenario, I think he's a bit more raw, and his game is going to take a little bit of time to translate to the pros, but the talent is all there. He plays, honestly, just the right way. He plays the right brand of basketball. I think the Atlanta Hawks could easily get out of this big slump of just being mid with the right pick. And we look at the way that Jonathan Kuminga is playing right now. Maybe he could be something on this team. You look at the way Nickeil Alexander-Walker's playing right now. He could still be a relevant role player for years to come. And then, of course, Jalen Johnson is the guy. He's your all-star. If he can just continue to be healthy, I know he's had some injuries, but if he can just be healthy, you don't have to be a 500 basketball team for much longer. And that's not to say that you don't make any other signings or any other trades to get some other pieces that could really round out this team. But let me know what you guys think. I greatly appreciate you guys for watching. Hopefully the Hawks can find their way out, because if you're a 70-year-old and you're a Hawk fan, you've seen literally mid basketball. I don't know how else to explain it. That to me is just insane. Imagine you're 70 years old and you're just like, yeah, We've been the most mid team in my lifetime. Literally. But anyway, greatly appreciate you guys for watching. For the like, subscribe, it goes a long way to help the channel. This is We've Been Different. We've Been Different. And we out.